name's Artemis, and if even one person is watching this, and I guess the title of this video was completely fucking wrong, but it is a thing that you deal with when you make content, that sometimes you make stuff that isn't really mass appealing. Sometimes you make stuff that doesn't do the distance and doesn't really take off the way that perhaps you might really want it to, and that can suck. And sometimes you start thinking like, oh, maybe I need to change what I'm doing to make it really appealing, and then you fall down the fucking trap of how you even do that. And recent experiences have kind of reminded me why I really do this stuff and why I don't do it the other way. Let me explain. Where does all this come from? Well, recently I did a big video project and a big 10-hour day of filming with some friends who do puppetry and puppets, and we made a couple of videos, one of which I'm still editing and one of which you've already seen. It's the Furries versus Puppet video, and we had a really fun time filming it, and it took all goddamn day to get the footage, and the whole time my friends kept joking like, oh, all this work for not even 300 views. And sure enough, we actually hit 300 views, but it did not take off. It did not go to the stratosphere, and there was a little bit of a sense of disappointment almost that the amount of work we poured into this thing wasn't really reflected in its response. And I'm very used to this sort of thing, but it can be quite jarring, especially when you have niche interests and you want to talk about them and not everybody's going to share it. It can be a little bit disheartening sometimes when you're trying to make content and you see that maybe I'm making the wrong stuff, and it leads you down that familiar trap of, well, maybe I should be making the right stuff. Maybe I should be appealing to people and appeasing them and showing them what they want to see. And that can make you do some very interesting things. So of course, when you start making things and it doesn't go the way that you want it to, it makes you start to think, well, if I'm going to give them what they want, I'll really give them what they want. And you start coming out with everything you think people want to see. Tits, ass, hanging dong, or in my case, the gratuitous feet and paw shots. And then you start to realize that maybe you're starting to pigeonhole yourself. Maybe you're starting to become something that you never really intended, and maybe you're actually just starting to copy what everyone else is doing. And I believe that this is why we see so much of the same repetitive stuff. People are not really sure what to make. And when they try and make something, when they do something on a limb, on a whim, they get a decent response, but it's not the kind of response they want. So they decide, well, I've seen what they're doing and that works. Maybe I'll just do that instead. And then we end up with 15 channels all doing and saying the exact same goddamn thing, just in a different fursuit, because it works, because that's what the system likes. It's what the system picks up as furry content and pushes to furry watchers. And I mean, if it works and it's okay, then it's something, but you can't really expect yourself to want to do that forever. And giving people what they want when it comes to anatomy and potential adult themes, well, that's a very difficult thing to do when the landscape's changing, and so's your ability to actually stay in it. Now, obviously, I've made a bunch of videos on, sexual themes within the fandom, kinks, how sexy we actually are, and of course, all the feet and the paw stuff that, well, I like to show off with. And, it does some good numbers, and people do tend to respond pretty well to it, but it also has people saying like, oh, I don't want to see that. Oh, I don't like that you're talking about this stuff because, oh, you need to separate it more. And it is a barrier that you run into. People seem to expect furries to have an adult side and that they are inherently sexual by nature, even though they're fucking not. But then on the flip side, they also expect you to stay completely family friendly. And they, want to see you get your kit off. They want to see your dick half the time, but then they get upset if you show it. It's almost like they want to be in on the joke, but no one else to be in on it, even though it's how a lot of people earn their money. And sometimes showing your not safe for work side, or even just your, here's a piece of anatomy that I like in a non-sexual way, like myself, can sort of paint you with a certain brush that's very hard to deal with. And people kind of put you in a box with that and assume that you're one thing when perhaps you're not. And you got to be ready for that. But even on top of that, with the way payment processes are, with the way the algorithm is and the censorship that's going on, I mean, hell, this simple fucking post of me showing some socks got flagged the morning that I filmed this for potential sexual solicitation. It's fucking socks. It's a lot to contend with if you are going to go down this rabbit hole, and perhaps it's going to take you to a place that you didn't want to go to. And hell, even if you do, it's not the only obstacle you're dealing with. There's also a time limit to this shit. Now, my channel was actually 9 years old this year. I've been going for fucking ages. In fact, I might just be the longest running, even if I'm not the most successful, and probably never will be. And that's okay. But the time that I joined this, you know, furry YouTube was definitely the dominating form of content in the fandom. It sure as shit ain't now. In fact, all over the world, things have been overtaken by the short form, by the 30-second TikTok, by the 15-second reel, by the short and vertical, which is exactly what people want to see. And it's not even just that it's an attention span thing, because yeah, attention span comes into it. It's scrolling. If your content is something they have to click on and watch, it's just not going to come up as much as just scrolling. Oh look, there's you. I've seen it. That registered as a view. Scroll again. This is a really hard thing for people to come into. I've had several video ideas that I really enjoyed and really wanted to make into long video ideas, but they didn't work anymore as YouTube videos. So I made them into vertical reels on TikTok, and goddamn did they take off. In fact, a lot of these ideas are now supposed to be put on platforms like this because they just don't work in a landscape, non-scrolling way. And that's okay, you gotta learn that, but it's just another thing to balance. Not only do you need to figure out what people want, you got to figure out whether it's safe for you to give it, what you're going to look like if you do keep giving people what they want, and also, are you giving it to them in a way that they actually want to consume it? God, and you add to that all the effort you got to put into this shit? Fuck me, why even bother? Now, putting the time limit of short form and long form content into context, it seems to me that short form content is how you gain an audience and long form content is how you actually speak to them. And if you can strike that balance, you're doing okay. But it's not all built the same way anymore. A lot of us came into the YouTube side of things seeing all of these furry YouTubers do content a very specific way that just isn't there anymore. YouTube used to be con videos and analysis and opinion pieces, and now it's more like lists and video essays. And of course, the ever favorite, I found some shit on Reddit and reacted to it, which honestly works. I can bitch off about how unoriginal it is, I can bitch off about how lazy it is, but it works, and that's what people want to see. And sometimes you have to sacrifice what you consider to be original content and your true originality. You can sit there and make a full cinematic, Oscar-worthy, beautifully color-graded skit and watch it do nothing compared to someone putting on a slightly good-looking fursuit and going, look at this meme I found, isn't it funny? And that's a depressing reality you're going to have to deal with. Sometimes you will pour your heart and soul into a thing. Sometimes you will spend weeks working on it and it will go nowhere because, unfortunately, your effort is not more important than the results. The really bitter pill to swallow is that your hard work just doesn't matter. It doesn't. The end result is the only thing that matters because it's the only thing that people see. So you can think that because you're putting so much work into it and it's taken so much time that you're going to see that reflected in the views, and you're just not. I'm really sorry to say it, but you're just not. There's so much stuff that has gone viral that really probably shouldn't. Even my own stuff. One of my most popular things I ever did was just 6 minutes of me talking in front of a green screen, and I cut it down and posted it to TikTok. One of my most popular YouTube videos was just me and a friend in fursuit improvising, and I uploaded the funny bits. I didn't script it, I didn't do nothing. I didn't really do that much work with the editing, as you can tell, but it took off because it's the quality over the quantity of effort that's put in. And even then, even when you recognize that, this entire thing is out of control and unpredictable. You got no idea what's going to take off. I mean, did anybody expect something as shit as Skibidi Toilet to be as huge as it fucking is? But it is. It doesn't matter that it's not that good quality. It doesn't matter that it looks lazy. It doesn't matter that it's not even fucking funny. It took off because that's just how this shit works. No one can predict it. This algorithm is so out of control that it's honestly stupid to try and predict it, to try and chase after it. And even then, it's under the direct control of the tech corporations now. We've all seen where they're pushing certain content over others. Are you really sure that you can navigate that and keep your shit on top? Because I guarantee you fucking can't. Ultimately, the point that I would make is a point I made a million times before. You've got to make this for you. You've got to make it because you enjoy it. But beyond that very obvious point, which I've made a million times before, you've also got to factor in that you don't know what's going to work. You never do. You can't predict what the system's going to like and what's going to take off, so stop trying to chase it. This algorithm, this constantly shifting desire of what people want to see is impossible. You can't just sit down and write out exactly what's going to work, so don't try. Make this because you enjoy it. Don't focus on the views, don't focus on the numbers. That stuff's obvious, but more importantly, make stuff that's genuine. Make stuff that you like, that genuinely makes you happy, because that will get reflected onto the content and onto the audience as well, which is what I hope I still do. I still enjoy making all of this, and I still have honest stuff to say, and I still say it, and hopefully that's enough. And I can also just show feet at some point and get the numbers anyway. So find a balance as well, I guess. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. This is the outro as well. So speaking of feet, there's a link tree there where you can go and see some of that stuff, which, you know, you want to. Let's be real, it's where most of my audience came from, is showing the feet. But there's also the Patreon, which helps us keep going and paying the bills, which is lovely. You can check that out, which would be wonderful. We got a Discord server on there where I'm actually much more active these days than I was, which perhaps isn't saying a lot, but it's something. And you get exclusive videos and stuff, and you get to help me financially, which you know you really want to do. But yeah, thank you for watching, if you did. Or maybe the title of this video was completely correct, who knows. Maybe I'll throw some paws in the thumbnail or something. We'll get people in somehow. Anyway, bye!